Get your day started on a great high, right here on the Lady E Show.
How much of the information you see on social media do you take in completely without questioning? How often do you take your time to verify the sources that provides you with this information? Do you also take your time to look beyond what you see? Do you read the words? How do they come across to you? How much filtering are you able to really carry out on the spot? And after reading any information, do you take time to verify? That's what we'll be doing, to navigate that terrain, to find out the impact of online media, social media on the information we take. And the biggest question, the Nigerian 2019 election, what role is the media in this digital age can play in seeing that the electorates are equipped to be more politically intelligent, culturally intelligent, and more informed in the decisions that they take.
Get your day started on a great high, right here on the Lady E Show.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Emeka Odigali. I know you're a lead consultant for entrepreneurship development, right? And you're into digital skills training and all of that as well. When we look at analytics, what would you say an online publisher or an online savvy citizen journalist should begin to be more smart in how they can use some of these analytics to, one, see where predictions are going, two, use it to as an information that might also help them make better decisions when it comes to exercising their right to vote?
The power of analytics helps you know demographically where strengths are, where weaknesses are, where people's biases are, what age range have those biases, what's peculiar to those people in those age ranges and those age brackets. So, particularly, a seasoned journalist should be able to know what affects somebody who is below 20, what affects someone who is below 30, what affects someone who is in the retirement sector, to be able to know what their concerns are, what their need analysis are. So they now are able to help them express their yearnings and at the same time find out who is an answer to solving these different dispositions. Why? Because we now have a social media generation. And in this social media generation, you get to see people who take first-hand information from the internet rather than hearing the facts. And because we have the speed drive amongst people in our environment, people are not patient enough to be able to go down to details. So people even live their lives on headlines. They take the headlines and run with it without finding out what was written behind it. So to a very strong extent, the media has a lot to do with how they will influence 2019 elections. So in the fullness of everything, using analytics, they are able to help those who claim that they have solutions know what directions to channel their solutions into. And at the same time, they know the people that need these solutions and they're able to let them know these are the people that can give you your answers.
Do you think we have a terminology for offline president and online president? I've heard that just passed around. I mean, what does that really mean when we say somebody's an offline president and an online president?
Okay, let me give you this general analytics. It says that we have PDP, APC, ABGA, and the online and the WhatsApp parties.
Oh, really?
So there are a lot of political parties in the country that don't have a strict structure, but on WhatsApp they have a strong following. You understand? Now, on those platforms, what they now tend to use is television, interviews, digital media platforms, social media platforms to sell their propaganda, their ideologies. Then you get to keep hearing they are doing online voting statistics for 2019 election, presidency, online voting statistics for governorship election.
Polls and all that.
So they are just running their polls, and you see this guy has 60% on Facebook, Buhari has 2%, etc. So the concept is they have this hype on the media divide, which is different from what you can get from the street person on the road.
But there's always this argument that the offline activity mirrors the real society. But now you are flipping it and say that may not be true.
It may not be true. Why? Because okay, let me put it like this. In Nigeria, it has a 50-50 connotation. Why? Because what happens online is not what happens at the polling station.
Why is that?
Because we have a different mentality of people who are carrying their voters' cards to the polling booths. So when they get to the polling booths, what happened online stays online. It's now who the influencers are on ground that determines who wins.
And when
at
you
the
say
polling
influencers
stations.
now, are you talking about money politics here?
Money politics, last minute convictions, which line is longer, what are my guys doing?
So in other words, is it not also painting a picture where it is a situation that Nigeria might be unique in terms of you cannot use data you see online to thoroughly make prediction?
True. You cannot use data you see online to thoroughly make predictions. Why? Because
Unlike other countries, you can actually say yes.
the Nigerian perspective has swift adaptability or adaptation to scenarios. You have the scenario of, man, if we don't get this, I'm not voting tomorrow. But tomorrow morning, the guy is the first to tell you, I'm at the polling station. Are you not coming?
Why do you think we act that way?
Why? Because Nigerians are spontaneous and at the same time, Nigerians are impulsive. So being spontaneous means that we get carried away with the excitement of the moment. Once the excitement goes, we wait for what prompts our impulse. So the decisions that have been carried over time as impressions, ideologies, advocacies, just suddenly die at the moment of decision making. Why? Because at the moment of decision making, they are making the decision to suit themselves, to suit their immediate yearnings, and they forget the long-term goal. It's like a large percentage of what you get that is obtainable on the street.
Does that have to do with the quality of education we receive, our educational background, our social strata? I mean, what really makes it that way?
Education is one. Why? Because a child goes to nursery, primary, secondary, university, spends most of his life in an educational system that gives him a lot of promises. And when he's done, he doesn't see the promises. So suddenly he gives up on the system that has programmed him. Now he's looking for any other system that can work, any other system that can just be the glimmer of hope.
So there's a case of gullibility playing out here,
Yes.
is it?
Yes, and it's actually coming from a frustrated dimension, a depth of frustration, a depth of lack of accomplishment, and which word would I use now? And giving up on the system.
Now that we are in this space, and there's a cry for more of citizen journalism in Nigeria, if you're going to give tips to an online Nigerian user, be it on social media and all the internet platforms we have to explore in the information that is thrown at us, because more recently, like in the training, you did emphasize that, look, information are targeted at you based on your word search, based on the things you click. So how wary should Nigerians begin to be of things like that, and how would you help lift their political intelligence in terms of, look, this is how to go about it on social media, and this is how you can use social media information about our future aspirants and those contesting?
Number one, we have to understand that we need to stop being random. We need to become more deliberate about our lives. Why? Because you tell me you want to be a consultant, you tell me you want to be an entrepreneur, you tell me you want to be a politician, you tell me you want to be a successful person in whatever brand trade you're living with. The truth is, if you don't get deliberate, you don't package your content in a deliberate angle. Analytics are actually read based on behavior. And if you are deliberate, your behavior is crafted, is scripted. It can be read. So if you tell me you're an advocate, your life should be able to spell advocacy. If you tell me you stand against victimization of people in the grassroots, your life should be able to tell you. You don't just say it. So the social media environment, digital environment, no longer reads you based on just word of mouth. They are reading you based on your behavior. So you need to be able to sell a behavior that sells what you want to accomplish. So as a people, as a country, as people who are going into ventures, we need to stop being, okay, I do this one today, I do this one tomorrow. We need to start telling ourselves, this is what I stand for. So today, what did I do in relation to what I stood for? What am I going to do tomorrow in relation to this? Because you are building a profile.
What you're saying is, for example, if somebody has a tendency of always clicking things that are more like misinformation, disinformation, fake news,
The person will always attract fake news.
so if you're now deliberate about the kind of sites you go to,
Yes.
the kind of information you search, the source of this information, it also filters out
Yes.
deliberately the content that comes to you,
Yes.
which makes you more informed, better in a sense.
Yes.
Now, in the wake of the WAEC certificate saga, the Adeosun certificate NYSC palaver, it raised a lot of dust. And one of the key dust with regards to President Muhammadu Buhari in this context is, this was a man projected as Mr. Integrity. Now, the proliferation of the discussion and what went with the reactions of Nigerians when the results were out, when a lot of documents were, pumped out. There were even FOI requests showing that requests were made, and this was the response, even as far as Ghana and all of that. When we look at a situation like this, why is it that in Nigeria, or what can we in Nigeria begin to do with regards to extreme, thoroughly aspirants before they get into office and prevent such sagas like this?
The truth is, we have to have journalists who are more investigative prone than just storytelling prone. Because if you are more investigative prone, you are more thorough. But when you are storytelling prone, you just hear and you say. You understand? So because of this, we need to be able to know, we need to be able to now start telling people by their social media behaviors. We need to start telling people by their histories. We need to be able to read people according to their activities over time, so that we cease to judge them based on the things they give us. We begin to judge them based on the facts we have. I don't know if I'm getting across to you.
If that is the case, then how do one as a citizen, because obviously it's clear that the traditional media isn't living up to par, although the call out now to action is, look, you need to do better than just storytelling. You need to give us data and facts to buttress this point so that you can also elevate the information the audience also absorb. Now, till we get there, how do you think as a citizen journalist, you on your own can take the mantle upon yourself to be more informed about aspiring candidates?
You should be able to learn how to use your searches stronger.
Please give us tips here.
Okay, I'll give you an instance. Wikipedia does not quote things that they cannot stand for, which means before they approve it, they need to be able to be sure of the source, and they need to be able to have backup for that source, because to them they are a global encyclopedia. If they are that thorough, which means you can trust what they have. That's one. Two, we should now be able to tell which of our media houses, our internet frameworks tell us consistent truths and which don't, so that we know who we give our attention to. I think beginning to give our attention to the right set of people will gradually begin to get us the right information and cause us to grow. You understand? So when we are able to get this together, then we can now start a culture of constantly having the right information. Because you look at yourself, you are looking for information on a politician, and the only time you got to know the full name of the politician was when he picked up the nomination form.
Good. You're hitting a nail.
Now, when he picked up that nomination form, some people stood behind him. It's time to run interviews around them and correlate the stories from different individuals about one person. By the time you pick up fragments, you get the truth. But if you just want to take what he said and what the propaganda said, you don't get it. because they tailor the story. But if you tell me you live in Funaya Street, and I come to Funaya Street and I'm asking them, this guy, how far? How has he been? How has his demeanor been in the entire street? What has he done? In the street community meetings, what has he done? In his village, what has he done? By the time you now begin to get these little fragments, you get a stronger story than the normal one of they said and we heard. At the end of the day, all they said and what you heard was what you wanted you to hear and what you wanted to hear. And you don't get the truth.
Pure press releases. But what about cases where some people actually own their own Wikipedia page and they actually throw in the information there? I mean, you can't verify everything.
No matter how you can't verify anything, there are some platforms that have been seen as verified news.
Do you have any examples you could give for us?
Number one, I'll go back to Wikipedia. Wikipedia doesn't quote from blogs. Why? Because many blogs don't have original stories. A lot of them have copied stories, shared stories, and fragmented or crafted stories. But some of them tell the truth though. Now, what they now do is for you to become a licensed news media, it means that at least 80% of what you say can be confirmed as true. We don't want to say 100% because sometimes you don't verify, sometimes you now give a disclaimer. You understand? So when we now know that most of what you say is true, we can hold on to it until someone comes to negate it. And when the person has to negate it, the person has to negate it with a stronger truth and a stronger proof.
So essentially, as a citizen journalist, your major work is to even have the researching skills.
Yes, it's very important. It's
you
very
must
key.
go out of the way. You cannot wait even on traditional trusted media. You need to go out of your way.
Google is helping you now.
Right.
Google is helping you. Facebook is helping you too.
How are they helping in this context?
Now, because they have things these individuals have been doing online.
Because if you look at it,
no matter how offline they choose to be, there are things they do that are online. I'll give you an instance. I was in a hospital some weeks back, and the doctor was saying, my hospital doesn't have publicity. So I just went online and typed the name of his hospital, and I found out that there was a scandal about him like 7 years back, and he doesn't know. So you don't know how much you don't know until you decide to search.
So top of the skills is research skills then?
Yes. And you need to know what questions to ask.
The right questions.
The right questions.
I want to say thank you very much for being part of the show.
Thank you so
much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
That was Emeka Odibeli. He's a lead entrepreneur consultant, and he's been able to bring to the fore a key issue with regards to how you can be a better citizen journalist. I hope some of the tips have been helpful.
The Lady E Show, a mixed grill cocktail of fun entertainment.